It is supposed to be the daughter's big wedding day, yet the father utters words that shock everyone, claiming they will eventually get divorced. Infuriated, the daughter shoves her father to the ground. However, when the father stands back up, he holds a shattered wine glass and repeats his words with even more certainty. In his eyes, empty romantic love is far less important than having the security of material wealth. Sure enough, just as her father predicted, Joy's life after marriage becomes a complete disaster. On one side, she has children who won't stop crying, and on the other, a husband who is both depressed and incompetent. Before her spirit is completely crushed by the trivialities of daily life, Joy decisively files for divorce to cut her losses. However, this so-called liberation does not make her life any easier, because her ex-husband Tony has no steady income and is still crashing in her basement. As the saying goes, when it rains, it pours. Her philandering father Rudy is kicked out by his girlfriend and comes to Joy for shelter, since he has nowhere else to go. The moment her parents see each other, they erupt into constant arguments, and the hot-tempered Rudy even starts smashing things around the house. Helpless, Joy can only arrange for her father and her ex-husband to live together in the basement. But these two can't stand the sight of each other, forcing Joy to use toilet paper to mark out separate territories for them to avoid conflict. After settling the mess at home, Joy heads out to work on an empty stomach. Because she gave up the chance to go to college, she now works as a ground crew member for a budget airline, facing unreasonable passengers every single day. Her mother Terry spends all day slumped in front of the TV, obsessed with soap operas and completely ignoring everything happening in the house. Meanwhile, her father Rudy is busy going on dates with a wealthy woman. Her mother continues to make excuses, while the mess left behind is always Joy's responsibility to clean up. On top of all that, Joy has a half-sister who is incredibly jealous and constantly speaks ill of Joy in front of the children. Rebirth is never a miracle that happens overnight, but rather a persistence held for 17 years, as every seemingly sudden bloom is the inevitable result of a long period of dormancy. At night, Joy is so exhausted that she feels like she's going to collapse, and just as she tries to lie down for a few minutes of rest, she falls into a nightmare. In the dream, it feels as if her entire family wants her dead. She walks into a church and sees everyone mourning her younger self, realizing that she has been held hostage by life for 17 years by always putting others first. The Joy who once loved inventing things and possessed infinite potential has long been worn down by the mundane chores of life. Outside, Rudy is chatting and laughing with a wealthy woman named Trudy. Using his magnetic voice, he charms Trudy so much that she impulsively invites the entire family to her luxury yacht to relax at sea. The next day, her ex-husband Tony brings a crate of red wine to liven things up. The group drinks and chats on the boat, and the atmosphere seems quite harmonious. But suddenly, the boat hits a bump, causing wine glasses to shatter on the deck, leaving shards and wine stains everywhere. While everyone else continues to party, the burden of cleaning once again falls on Joy's shoulders. But as she tries to wring out the mop with force, the glass shards hidden inside the mop instantly slice her hands, leaving them bloodied. It is this very accident that allows Joy to keenly spot a massive business opportunity. Wringing out a regular mop is both dirty and dangerous, so if she could design a mop that cleans and dehydrates without needing hands, she could help housewives like herself and find her old self again. Once this idea is born, it takes root in Joy's heart like a seed. She uses her daughter's crayons to sketch a blueprint for a telescopic mop, and then heads to a repair shop to weld the mop handle. To ensure maximum absorbency, she wraps 91 meters of pure cotton thread 40 times and fixes it to the pole. A dream is not some unreachable luxury, but rather the courage to give your all, even when you know the road ahead is difficult. Just like that, the world's first self-wringing magic mop is born in the hands of a housewife. However, mass production requires a significant amount of capital, so Joy gathers her courage to find Trudy to seek investment. She lists the advantages of the mop with clear logic, gradually winning Trudy over. But Peggy, who is standing nearby, suddenly interrupts, claiming she has been helping her father manage the repair shop and that Joy has zero business experience, suggesting the deal should be handed to her instead. Unexpectedly, Trudy only tosses a sharp question at Joy. What would you do if you were in a room with your business rival? Because the business world is a survival of the fittest environment, where one must be ruthless and decisive to stand their ground. Just as they are about to apply for the patent, Trudy's lawyer discovers that someone in Hong Kong has already applied for a similar patent. To avoid paying infringement penalties, Joy needs to pay a patent protection fee. Furthermore, the contact person in Texas for the other party happens to own a parts factory, meaning they could get parts at a low price to significantly reduce production costs. They talk endlessly among themselves as if Joy is just an irrelevant bystander. Later, Joy hires a group of housewives just like her and patiently teaches them how to assemble the mops. Watching everyone work with such passion, Joy feels a sense of self-worth for the first time. Even the usually unreliable Rudy feels proud of his daughter, but trouble follows soon after. The factory took 4 attempts to successfully create the part templates for Joy, and they intend to charge all those losses to her account. Joy knows this isn't her fault and decisively refuses to pay the fee. Joy then shifts all her energy toward sales. She first talks to a grocery store owner about a partnership, only to be told that the shelves are already contracted by large companies. If she wants to sell there, she must first reach an agreement with those major corporations. Joy feels helpless, frustrated that a simple business deal has to involve an unnecessary middleman. But with no other options, she bites the bullet and finds a large company, only to be told that a $20 mop is of too high quality for them to make a profit. The representative not only rejects Joy, but also mocks her, saying a housewife should stay home to serve her husband and raise children. But the ridicule doesn't break Joy. Instead, she heads to the entrance of a shopping mall to pitch the mop herself. However, the passers-by are cold and indifferent, showing no interest. Joy decides to put down the mop and has her best friend do the pitching while she and her daughter pretend to be regular housewives watching the demonstration. The lifelike demonstration instantly attracts a large crowd of onlookers, yet only moments later, the police arrive on the scene and confiscate all of her tools. The people who were interested in buying immediately scatter. A defeated Joy returns home only to be hit with more devastating news. Not only does she receive debt collection notices, but her child also starts coming down with a fever. The dual pressure of her personal life and career has almost drained her of all her strength. Just as Joy falls into despair and feels completely lost, the doorbell suddenly rings. It turns out to be Tony, and he has actually brought Joy a glimmer of hope. He saw everything that happened to Joy during the day, and since they were once a couple, he still wants her to have a good life. Tony introduces her to a friend in television home shopping named Neil, a very visionary businessman who controls powerful sales channels. Almost every product he personally handpicks becomes a blockbuster hit without exception. Joy knows that this is her only shot. Neil gives Joy 5 minutes to introduce her product. Joy expertly explains the convenience of the mop, but the men in the room don't do housework and mock it as useless. Neil initially rejects the partnership, stating that the plastic material looks cheap and they don't sell low-quality items. Joy counters that as a housewife who handles chores daily, she knows the struggle of cleaning better than anyone. She explains that the lightweight plastic is actually perfectly suited for a woman's grip. Joy's sincerity and unwavering determination eventually move Neil. Neil leads her into a pure white room to have her demonstrate the mop's actual effectiveness on the spot. Upon seeing the mop effortlessly wipe away stains without the need for bending over or hand washing, Neil is full of admiration. He decides to partner with Joy, promising her a live shopping segment and telling her to prepare 50,000 mops. Joy is both shocked and delighted, and despite the risks and lack of funds, she agrees to the deal. She follows Neil to the TV shopping backstage, which features several different stages with various settings. She watches a celebrity briefly describe a necklace, and the operator's phones immediately ring off the hook, resulting in thousands of sales. Then they have the celebrity take calls from fans, and sales skyrocket, leaving Joy completely stunned by this sales model. But when she brings the news home, Trudy refuses to help. Because not a single mop from the previous batch has been sold, Trudy isn't willing to take all the risk and demands Joy cover half the costs. To seize this rare opportunity, Joy goes as far as mortgaging her only house to put all her capital into production. For Joy, this is an all-in gamble, where winning means a total turnaround, and losing means having nothing left but debt. On the day of the TV promotion, Joy's family watches the screen with anticipation as the top salesperson introduces her mop. But the salesperson has zero experience with housework and makes a massive blunder during the demo. Instead of showing the mop's benefits, he makes a complete mess of it, resulting in 0 sales during the live broadcast. Joy falls into complete despair, as 50,000 mops are now stuck in her hands just like that. After the broadcast, Neil calls Joy immediately, but blames the product for the failure. In that moment, Joy feels her world collapsing. while her family stands by mocking her, saying she was never meant for business. Her father even advises her to file for bankruptcy to minimize the damage, but Joy refuses to give up everything she fought so hard for. So the next morning, she storms into Neil's office, demanding a second chance and insisting on going on air herself, since no one knows the mop better than she does. Neil argues that only celebrities and professional pitchmen should be on stage. Neil is left speechless for a moment and, after getting the green light from other shareholders, agrees to Joy's request. The TV station tries to dress Joy up like a corporate socialite for the show's effect, but she insists on wearing her everyday clothes, wanting to recommend her product as an authentic housewife. Neil respects her choice. However, once she's actually backstage and the stage begins to rotate with the spotlights hitting her, Joy freezes up, unable to say a single word. Neil is filled with regret, certain that this broadcast is going to be another disaster. Just as the room falls into an awkward silence, a sudden phone call breaks the tension. Hearing the familiar voice on the other end, Joy's tense nerves finally relax because she knows it's her best friend calling to save the day. Using that warmth and confidence, Joy dives straight into the pitch, talking passionately about the mop she designed, with eyes full of light and determination. To prove its practicality, Joy pours syrup and baby food on the floor and wipes it away effortlessly with one stroke. She also demonstrates the mop's wringing function, which allows the water to be squeezed dry with just a gentle twist without her ever having to use her hands. The mop head is detachable and even machine washable. She lets go of all her worries and tells her story, explaining why she invented the mop in the first place. Her honesty and grit touch every single viewer watching. Orders start pouring in from everywhere, and within minutes, sales approach 30,000 units. 10 minutes later, all 50,000 mops are completely sold out. Joy has finally made it, and she is no longer that easily bullied single mother, finally able to live for herself. But little did she know that a greater crisis was lurking behind her success, as human greed once again reached out its claws toward her. As the mops continue to sell like hotcakes, Joy's business grows better by the day. Not only does she successfully expand her production scale, but her subsequent live TV broadcasts also become increasingly skilled, with every sales performance being quite impressive. But just when she thinks her life has finally turned a corner, those around her begin to reveal their true, greedy faces, one by one. The parts supplier deliberately hikes the prices of components, yet her father assigns her half-sister Peggy to handle the matter. Peggy not only agrees to the price hike without authorization, but she even goes as far as paying the previously disputed fees for mold wear and tear. Joy simply cannot wrap her head around her sister's actions. In the face of profit, family bonds can sometimes become incredibly fragile. To protect her career and her family, she must learn how to say no and set her own rules. Feeling both angry and helpless, Joy has no choice but to fly to California herself to negotiate with the factory owner, Gerhardt. However, Gerhardt takes a hard line and refuses to budge, bluntly telling her to take it to court. As negotiations hit a stalemate, Joy steps into the restroom to catch her breath, only to accidentally stumble upon a hidden door. Walking through the hidden door, she discovers it is actually the factory's production workshop, where the very mop components she designed are on display, while the patent blueprints nearby shockingly bear the factory's name. After Gerhardt spots Joy, he shows no remorse whatsoever and instead calls the police to have her evicted. Trudy's lawyer quickly uncovers the truth of the situation. When the patent protection fee was paid earlier, the lawyer inadvertently allowed the mop's components and molds to be registered under the other party's patent. Even though every design originated from Joy's hands, she finds herself unable to sue the factory. At this point, Joy must either file for bankruptcy or go to court, though she's likely to lose, and in the meantime, she has no right to sell the very mops she designed. Rudy also begins to feel regret, believing he shouldn't have given Joy the confidence that led her to harbor such unrealistic fantasies. Under their pressure, Joy is forced to sign the bankruptcy papers with a heavy heart. In that moment, all her hard work goes down the drain, and she breaks down into a fit of sobbing. After everyone leaves, she is left alone in the room, and while watching everything she built with her own hands turn to nothing, Joy chooses not to wallow in despair. She resolutely cuts off her long hair, using the act to say goodbye to the weak version of herself that was pushed around by life. Therefore, when everyone looks down on you, what you need to do is not belittle yourself alongside them, but rather gear up to prove your worth to yourself and to the world. Even if no one cares about the journey, the world will watch, and all things will listen to your inner voice. The uphill climb is grueling, but it is a path that must be walked with unwavering determination. You must transform yourself into a towering mountain, as a true mountain would never allow a mere stream to hinder its resolve to forge ahead. Afterwards, Joy locks herself in her room, studying patent documents day and night, until she finally tracks down the mastermind behind the patent controversy. It turns out it was the agent of the patent owner who had been pulling the strings. Shortly after, Joy arranges a direct meeting with the man. Unexpectedly, the man threatens Joy directly, stating that no one knows he is there, and that even Joy doesn't truly know who he is. Perhaps he is someone sent by others to take care of her. Faced with this blatant threat, Joy shows not a hint of fear, as her eyes hold only the calm of one who has weathered the storm and an uncompromising determination. Joy states plainly that before coming, she had spoken over the phone with the patent owner in Hong Kong, who had no idea that Joy had paid a $50,000 patent protection fee. This money had clearly been pocketed by the agent standing before her. Furthermore, Joy discovers that there are simply no similar products in Hong Kong whatsoever. On the spot, Joy exposes his true colors of embezzling funds and engaging in malicious fraud. Even after seeing the dark side of the world, Joy remains sincere and kind. But this kindness now possesses a sharp edge and a firm set of boundaries. Seeing his scam completely dismantled, the agent drops his arrogant act and agrees to fully refund Joy's $50,000 patent fee, even offering an additional $20,000 in compensation. But Joy is no longer a pushover, so the man grits his teeth and begins to increase the offer. He is forced to suppress his rage and reluctantly sign the compensation papers, paying the price for his greed and deception. Joy wins this battle beautifully, and through her wisdom and resilience, she completely turns her life around. From then on, her career takes off and becomes unstoppable. Relying on a single mop, she amasses a fortune of $150 million, files for hundreds of patents, and is named the most creative entrepreneur of 2010. Having stood in the rain herself, she always wants to hold an umbrella for others. Joy doesn't forget who she once was, as she funds every talented ordinary person with a dream, using her own strength to light the way for more people stuck in the mud. Joy is a film adapted from a true story. In an era dominated by men, a woman's value was often defined by serving her husband, teaching her children, and doing chores. Yet Joy is the woman who dares to break prejudice, chase her dreams, and live for herself. She once gave up her college dreams to shoulder the weight of her family, yet she never let the fire of creativity within her heart go out. Despite being questioned and betrayed, she stayed true to her original intention and led the charge herself. The more others look down on you, the more you must strive to succeed. Setbacks are never a destiny, but rather a furnace that tempers your edge. We might not have earth-shattering inventions, but we also carry heavy burdens through life and yearn for a breakthrough amidst our confusion. Hope never stops, and as long as you start, it is never too late. Joy teaches us that even ordinary people can rewrite their lives through passion and perseverance. These unseen acts of persistence will eventually gather into a light that illuminates the road ahead. The truth of life is never smooth sailing, but rather choosing to grow toward the light even when you are full of scars.